Well, hello everybody and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're focusing on 11 Golf and we're looking at their new mini driver. Now, in comparison to other mini drivers out on the market, this one comes in at a much more reasonable price, which we will get into during this video. This club is designed for those players that struggle maybe a little bit with the big drivers and they want something that's just slightly smaller in its profile, slightly smaller in its shaft length. And we're going to get into that as well as we kind of go through this video. But I'd like to hear down in the comments early on, are you a mini driver player? Are you interested in a mini driver? And does it work for your game? Let's get into this one. Now, I've recently come back from a fitting from 11. I've been up to their headquarters and I've been through the process. This one being offered in 13 degrees in loft and 11 degrees in loft. I've gone for the 11 degree lofted version, but the loft sleeve also allows you to be able to maneuver that loft just a little bit more, as we're experiencing in lots of companies out there. The loft sleeves being able to maneuver, lying it flatter, making it more upright, all those different positions. Now, the first thing that I really love when it comes to this particular setup, what 11 have done, is from a profile point of view, it's super clean set up down by the ball. And what I mean by that is that there's really nothing on the top of this club of like a mark or anything to indicate what it is. It's just super clean, a super gloss finish down at the ball, which actually I think, well, I just think it's really clean and tidy when you set it up. You've also got a little bit of a black kind of face on the top here, which I think blends really nicely in with that crown. And we've got these little white marks on the bottom, again, being able to just be able to sort of line up to that ball just a little bit easier. Like I said, I've gone into the 11 degree head because I'm somebody that wanted to test this out off the tee box more than what I was, let's say, using off the fairway. And also when I've been doing my testing and comparing it to, let's say, my 3-wood, which I actually get on really well with in my bag, I've got a Titleist GT2 3-wood, which is set at 13.5 degrees. I wanted something that maybe might give me a performance-wise just a little bit more, well, get it out there just a little bit further. And in my mind, these mini drivers, even though they're called the mini drivers, in my mind, they're actually kind of like 2-woods. So they sit right between a 3-wood and a driver. And from a profile point of view, you're going to see that this club is slightly bigger in its profile compared to what we're seeing from a normal 3-wood out on the market. But when you compare it to what we're seeing with a driver, it's much, much smaller. Now, from a confidence point of view, the minis, I would expect them to be a little bit bigger in their profile if they're going to be designed to be off the tee just a little bit more. But all in all, first impressions with this particular one, I really love the look of it. Now, interestingly, if you look at the bottom of this mini driver, it's obviously got the 11 stamp at the bottom there, but you've got one weight port at the back here. Now, you're going to see in other manufacturers out there that they're going to have lots of different weight ports, and the problem with having weight ports is that all these screws that go in the bottom of these clubs, they all add weight. And what companies have done is they've tried to make the top of their clubs just a little bit lighter, using things like carbon, things like that, to be able to lighten the top of the club, be able to use those weight ports to be able to maneuver that weight. Well, what 11 do is they add the kind of personal touch to it, that human touch. This weight port, which is a 10-gram screw in the back here, can be taken out, and then what they do, depending on what you want as a consumer, as somebody out on the golf course wanting different weight positions, what they can do is they can put hot melt inside this head and position that weight exactly where you want it, which is that personal touch, which I actually think works really well, and something that you're not going to get other than a tour van from other manufacturers. So not seeing a great deal of, well, not seeing bolts and everything on the bottom, but I do think this clean, tiny titanium look all the way around the head, well, it definitely focuses on a cleaner look, just like we're getting on the top edge. And I'm just going to refer you back now to my experience up at 11 at their HQ in Hereford, where I was out in the back room with Nick talking about where I wanted the hot melt positioning. So let's head over to Hereford and just share that little bit of footage with you. So hot melt is basically like, it's just a heated up glue that goes in the head, isn't it?
Yes.
And how do you know how much to put in from a weight point of view? Is it because you've done so much of it? Or?
Yeah, so each kind of
squeeze,
is 4.5 grams.
Okay.
So 2 is obviously 9, and then if you need 10, it's just a bit more.
Right. Now, I have heard on the grapevine that just putting hot melt is a bit of an art itself, because you can't just start chucking glue inside the head.
No, because once it's in forever.
Yeah, and it sets pretty quickly.
Yeah, about 20 seconds or so.
Right, so for those of you at home that have like a hot glue gun, those ones that you sort of build all your kids' projects with, let's not get those out and start popping that inside the heads of golf equipment, because we've got to make sure we get this absolutely right. Leave it to the experts is what I would say. So weight-wise, where are we at?
Yeah, we need about 10 grams.
So it is 10 grams.
So just depends where you want it.
Okay, well, I think based on the fact that I kind of want that driver to or mini driver to kind of just turn over a little bit on me, just try and keep that face a little bit square as long as we can, because obviously we've got 11 degrees. It might just help me get it off the deck as well. So I would say it'd be closer to the heel a little bit more. Yeah,
so for you it'd be I'd say slightly forward and then heel.
Yeah, because the spin was good, wasn't it?
Spin was good. You could knock a couple of 100 revs off. But...
Okay, so going forward will reduce the spin a little bit. If you were to put it back with that increased launch and
so most people ask for it like just around the perimeter.
Okay.
Just to weight the back of it up a little bit.
So when people are actually, let's say, designing their own hot mat, how does this actually work once they order it?
There's just a box and they type in where they want it.
Really?
So a lot of people are like draw biased, high and draw. Right. Whatever notes, that's kind of where it goes.
Right, okay. So for those people that are actually going through this process and ordering a mini driver or whatever driver that they're trying to create here, they do have to know a little bit about where they kind of want.
They kind of just leave it to me as well. So like, let's say you said less spin, draw biased.
Yeah.
It would go here. So that's like where it would go.
Right.
So they kind of leave it to me to.
Okay, and then you just manipulate it into that point. Okay. Now the shaft that we've got in this particular setup is a KBS TD tour driven 70 gram shaft, which is a category 5 shaft. Now, as Nick sort of shared with us, we've got that weight now in the heel, and it's actually slightly closer to the front edge of that driver or mini driver, which means that heel is going to slow down, quicken up the toe, as we talked about in the video, but also the fact that the weight being pushed forward is going to reduce the spin numbers, getting that CG closer to the face. Now, the other thing which is really noticeable to me, and hopefully you might be able to hear it yourselves as well, is the sound off the face. Now that sound is quite a dull sound in comparison to what you would get if it didn't have that hot melt inside. You would hear that sort of titanium tinny type of sound. Now, this is again something that lots of tour players focus on when it comes to the feel or the sound off the club face. And what you get is, as soon as you start putting hot melt or what they call rack glue on the tour vans, as soon as you start putting that inside the heads, you're going to start to mute the sound that comes out of the head. And when you hear manufacturers talk about, oh, this year we've gone for a louder sound, or this year we've listened to our tour players and we've gone for a more duller sound, that's what they're doing. They're just focusing on the acoustics inside, which in turn gives us that feel off the club face. And I've got to say, I'm somebody that likes to have something that's a little bit more muted anyway. In previous clubs that I've had in the bag, I've even had opportunities to be able to put hot melt in there just to sort of quieten the feel off the face. So for me personally, I'm absolutely loving that sense of that sort of duller sound off the club face. It kind of makes me feel like I've got that kind of tour experience, really. You can see that I've lost 2 now out to the right hand side, which is a little bit disappointing. I've hit 2 shots off the tees, which have gone absolutely down the middle, and then 2 that I've just leaked a little bit down that right hand side. So wandering over to the right hand side, which is where this second ball ended up, like I said to you, this one's set up at 11 degrees, which from experience, whenever I've gone for kind of a club like a 3-wood or a 2-wood or the mini driver, as soon as I de-loft these clubs, because I can maneuver this one, I can put it up by another 2 degrees, but as soon as I bring these lofts down, I tend to start to lose that ball out to the right hand side, and I've really got to try and focus on working hard through the ball. But ultimately I could maneuver the loft just to help that. Now, like I said in the intro to this video, people focusing on mini drivers maybe as a driver replacement, but actually there's lots of players out there and players out on tour that use mini drivers as a replacement for fairway woods, like 3 woods. Now, one thing I would say to that is, and I'm somebody that does struggle with this a little bit, I don't have the speed, let's say, to get the best performance out of a mini driver. And you need that speed to be able to get that ball to launch up in the air, get the spin that you're kind of needing to keep that ball up in the air. Let's just have a go out of this right rough and see how it performs. Hit the tree. Disappointing. Anyway, let's head down to the one that I actually hit the fairway with. But even though I did hit the tree, it was a great strike. It launched really well off that little bit of upslope, and it's just that the overhanging tree just got me. However, this is the focus, this one in the middle of the fairway. A great drive, getting me into a pretty good position. Where would my driver be on a day like today? Into the breeze off that tee box. Maybe I'd have got it to the top edge of that fairway there, maybe about 20, 30 yards further down, but not a great deal of difference. And where would my 3 wood be? Probably a little bit further back, because I'd probably generate a little bit more spin out of a 3 wood. Now, this is a challenge for me, this particular shot here. I've not got the easiest of lies. These fairways are burnt out a little bit, so therefore I'm getting a tight lie. So therefore my sort of strike performance is going to be a little bit lower in the face, which is going to spin the ball up a little bit, but it's downhill, which always tells me that my shot shape is going to want to cut from left to right a little bit. And you got to remember, I'm already fighting when it comes to the loft of this club because I'm losing a few to the right. But let's just give it a go and see from around 260 yards, can I actually get it onto that green? I'm going to aim down the left to play for that little bit of shape that I definitely feel like I'm going to get. Oh, hell of a hit. Go on, down you go. Again, you can see how much curvature is on that shot there. It's going to come up a little bit shy and down the right-hand side, but actually, from a launch point of view, really easy to launch that up. It doesn't get any harder than that particular shot there if you're looking for a higher launching club. Now, from a feel point of view, as I've always talked about, I'm definitely getting that duller sense off the face. And from a performance point of view, compared to a 3 wood, I just don't have the speed to be able to use this over the 3 wood that I've currently got, which is a bit of a shame. So I talked about price earlier on, and if we compare this mini driver, now you got to remember 11 Golf focusing very much, they're price conscious people because they are from a professional background, as in professional golfers background, so they know how the average golfer, how much they kind of want to spend on their products, and they've tried to make their products as cheap as possible so you guys get to be able to have the best products at the most affordable price. Now, if you compare this mini driver to, let's say, the top mini drivers on the market, okay? If we look at the Titleist mini driver, they're £459. The GT280 driver is £459. If you compare that to what we're seeing out of the new R7 Quad by TaylorMade, £399. So anything between £400 and £460 for those mini drivers by, let's say, the top brands. If we go then into the mini driver by 11, which I'm now on their website, you can go through the whole process here. 11 mini driver, £239. Now that, to me, blends in with everything that they kind of do at 11. They focus on price as a real key factor here. Now, like I said, there's 11 degrees and 13 degrees in loft. They've got a number of different flex options available. They've got different weight options available, and you've got those extra bits that you can put on there if you want that little bit of hot melt. It's going to cost you an extra 20 quid to put that inside the head, but the option is there available for these particular clubs. So I would like to hear down in the comments, are you a mini driver player? Would you consider the 11 as an option for you as a mini driver? I mean, that flight is so good. That is just so good. That was not a great deal of difference in the shape. It was just a dead straight shape on it. But yeah, are you somebody that would consider putting a mini driver in the bag? Are you somebody that, let's say, maybe has struggled a little bit when it comes to your driver? For me personally, I'm pretty solid when it comes to my driver and my fairway wood. I just don't have the speed to get this club to perform for me, certainly off the fairway. I do have it when it comes to off the tee. I think this club is going to work really well, but from a performance point of view, you know, I've tested lots of mini drivers out there, PXGs, Titleists, TaylorMades. I'll be honest with you, the feel off the face of this particular one and the cleanliness on top is putting it in and certainly up and around where those companies are with theirs. There's that leaky one to the right. If I don't quite square it up, I do leak these things out to the right hand side. But that's not just the 11, that's all the mini drivers that I've tested out on the golf course. But like I said, I'd like to hear down in the comments, are you going to be testing out the new 11 mini driver for yourself? At that price point, it's definitely worth considering. Don't forget, if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and I'll see you again on the next video.